You are listening to John Henry Drums. You are about to hear the words of another great worthy warrior, Dr. John Hendrick Clarke.
All right, you know the theme, the effects of global white supremacy. It is going to be covered from our guests from several different perspectives. One historical, one psychological, and one legal. We will start with our elder in the historical, Dr. John Hendrick Clarke.
Thank you again. We have a lot of work to do, short time to do it. After we have finished the three lectures, there should be four, but we're going to settle for three. The lectures will be transcribed. All of us will take our respective lectures and build in the documents, and I will edit all of the lectures into a book. And start. All right. The book will contain, in addition to an extension of what we have said here, the major documents on the extension of global white supremacy all over the world, how it started, Greek attitudes, Roman attitudes, even the attitudes of semi-white people, like the Arabs, who will separate custom from religion, things that you believe to be the truth that is really folklore. It's so difficult to get people to recognize that certain things were imposed on you that were alien to your society. They came out of other societies. And you accept these things and are willing to kill each other over them. And there's the word of truth in it. All right, we don't have time for any form of chit-chat. The focus of my talk, all too short given the subject, the focus of the talk will be global white supremacy from the end of the 19th century to the middle of the 20th century and the African independence explosion. Now, what had happened at the end of the 19th century, African people all over the world had engaged in protracted revolutions and had given themselves something they need right now, something their children need right now, something all of them misinterpreted and removed from their memory, the longest revolutionary heritage of any people on the face of the earth. Giving up a true revolutionary heritage, they began to follow people who didn't know where they were going. They began to accept books called the Bible. They began to hear stories about the rescue of a Holy Grail. Number one, wasn't holy. Number two, wasn't lost. Number three, wasn't there in the first place. There is an essential myth through the life of most of the people in the world. Now, with interpretation of the curricula as a feel-good curriculum, the criticizers of our desire for a correct curriculum have had nothing but a feel-good curriculum. But they don't want anyone else in the world to feel good. Now, if they stop telling lies about themselves and integrate our truth, maybe all of us can feel good together, and you have universal humanity other than global white supremacy. What the fight over the curricula is about their claiming things that they couldn't possibly have produced, because the things that they claim are older than their existence. It came up this morning on WWRL, a man or a lady, it called, reporting about some 12 gates. And the names of the 12 gates. Give me this name. Gates to the holy city. I said, that presupposes that I believe the story in the first place. It also presupposes that I accept Jerusalem as the Holy Land. And I do not. I have no Holy Land outside of the physical property of Africa. So what you are calling Jerusalem and what you are calling the Middle East or Western Asia was once an African colony and an extension of Africa. But the first holy city that the Africans declared or any other people declared in the whole world is Abydos. And that city is still there intact. Jerusalem has been destroyed several times. And Jerusalem was given to us out of someone else's folklore, while we ignore the city we built with our own hand, still standing, not holy by us, because someone else told us another city was holy. Now, as we came down to the end of the 19th century, the Africans had been engaged in anti-colonial wars. Global white supremacy had manifested itself in the form of slavery. We had had 400 years of it by now. Europe had recovered at our expense. The products from Jamaica, Haiti, and other West Indian islands had restored the economy of Europe. South America, that mulatto continent, contributed very little to Europe then, contributed very little to Europe now. The race in between was in conflict with itself, not worth a conversation here, because these were want to be whites. I wish the hell I was whites, pretending that they are white. That's another lecture, another day. When I have enough strong men to protect me from the podium to the street where the car is running, leadership on the role of the bastards in history. The people created by the coming together of blacks and whites who go through life, in most cases, debating whether they're loyal to their mother's people or their father's people, not knowing that every time they knock on their father's door, their father won't open the door, leaving them with no other door to come into but their mother's people's door. And yet, so many times, they have no loyalty to their mother's house. In Africa, they had fought 100 years of colonial wars. These Africans who never wore a store-bought shoe or heard of a military school, in their fight against global white supremacy, had out-generaled some of the finest military minds of Europe.
All right.
And whose word do we have for this? A young British reporter named Winston Churchill, in a book called The River War, dealing with the British retaking of the Sudan, and another one called A Roving Commissioner, dealing with the Boer War in South Africa. These Africans did not concede that anyone had the right to take over their country. So the Asante Wars in what is now Ghana, the wars along the East Coast, engineered, brought into being by Islam, Europe, after chattel slavery was turned into another form of slavery called colonialism, a more sophisticated kind of slavery and more profitable. You're less responsible for the upkeep of the slave, and yet he has no choice but to work with you because you destroyed his way of life. He must now survive by serving you. You torn down his trees, you killed his farm life, you laughed at his gods, you told him his clothes was ugly so he now wears your clothes. You reduced him to a vassal by demeaning his culture and demeaning him. Some traditional Africans who would not wear their clothes, adopt their tastes, decided to fight. They did not go to London, to Whitehall Street. They did not go and laugh at the smiling lady under the chandelier. The minute the African went to London, saw a chandelier and had a cocktail in his hand, he was doomed. So global white supremacy was manifesting itself in many ways because they had produced a mechanism of control. Now having controlled the body, they wanted to control the mineral wealth of Africa. They knew then what you still do not know. Africa is and has always been the world's richest continent.
All right.
And we are a rich people who are poor because we have not understood our riches. That juvenile delinquent who came out of Europe shooting babies in the back and calling himself a superior man at least knew something about the African who befriended him. He knew that he was politically naive. At the end of the 19th century, the Africans had 100 years of fighting this supremacy. The European had created a literature trying to justify his superiority.